Wake me up, shake me up, break me up, then put me back together. Take my crown, let me drown, bring me around and stay with me forever. I've never known love like this. Maybe you're an angel in the skies.
The first time I went was in July of 2003. It was the first time I visited San Antonio de los Cobres. And for years I had felt like that the Lord had something for us in that region of Argentina, and I had never visited there before, but I just felt a leading from the Lord to go and explore that region, believing that there was some purpose in it, some kingdom purpose in our going to that region. So in July of 2003, myself and 6 others went to Salta just to sort of spy out the land and to get to know some people there and to visit the area. And one of the things that we did while we were there is there's this really famous train called the Train to the Clouds, and we took that train like a normal tourist does, and it winds its way up through the valley and up into the high areas of the Andes Mountains. And on the way back down, because you go up this train track and it goes nowhere, and then you have to turn around and come back down the same track, they stop in San Antonio de los Cobres. And as I looked out over this land, it looked bleak and sort of forgotten and windblown, and my heart just began to be broken for the people of San Antonio. And so as I prayed over the town, I felt in my heart from the Lord that there was a purpose for us in that town. So we go back to the capital city of the province of Salta, and we're staying during this period of time at a mission that was a children's home in the past. And the pastor of the mission, Cornelio Salva, was doing a nice asado lunch, like a barbecue, for us the next day. And he began to talk about San Antonio de los Cobres, the town we had just visited the previous day. And then he said something that in an instant sort of changed everything for me. He made this statement. He said, 80% of the women in San Antonio de los Cobres die before the age of 50 because of arsenic poisoning in the water. And there was just something that came up in my heart immediately. It was as if something came out of me and it said, if the body of Christ can provide waters of life where they're drinking waters of death, then many lives will be rescued and many souls will be saved. And I was as surprised that I'd said that as anybody else in that moment. But from that moment, there was a hope in my heart that was born that we could provide clean drinking water for the people of San Antonio de los Cobres. So in March of 2006, we coordinated and facilitated a team to go to San Antonio de los Cobres to do hard data scientific research. And so we took a team there and we took over 180 water samples from various locations around the city, from normal tap water coming out of people's taps, public schools, hospitals. There were even some people in some locations who had installed some kinds of filter systems. So we're testing the water that they're trying to filter but we're not sure it's taking the arsenic out. We tested water from the streams, from the thermal hot springs around the city. One day, we were taking water samples outside of a local elementary school. Actually, we were sampling the water from the elementary school. And I have Argentine grandchildren. And there was a little girl that walked by that looked remarkably like one of my grandchildren. And if I knew that my granddaughter was drinking water that had arsenic in it every day, I would find a way to solve that problem. No matter what it cost me, my granddaughter would not be drinking arsenic every day. I felt like the Lord asked me, what kind of man would you be if you let someone else's granddaughter drink that water? I think that's a question we all have to answer. And from what I understand at this point, for about $10 a person, there's 5,000 people in the town for about $50,000. If I can put a filtration system, a point of distribution filtration system in San Antonio de los Coles that will prevent all of those children and all of those families from drinking water laced with arsenic every day, I have to at least try. That's really what I walked away from on this trip. We have to at least try.